Alright, hi guys. So today we're going to talk about, well, I was going to say X-Men, but the Wolverine. That's the best way to say it. Yeah, the Wolverine from, when did this come out again? 2013? I mean, this is a movie before Days of Future Past, my favourite one, but yeah. This movie is just aged so well. So yeah, it basically opens up in a, kind of like a big, like, real life event. And Wolverine kind of sees someone, like, about to, like, basically kill themselves. Basically Harakiri, which you'd say in Mortal Kombat. But then Wolverine basically saves him from killing himself. And it's kind of like in Wolverine's debt for the rest of the film. Yeah, because he basically saved his life in this flipping historic event when this whole place just got nuked. And Wolverine just took the whole blast, protecting him. Yeah. And he just sees Wolverine's entire skin just burned off, and he just heals it all up. And that's basically how to start the movie. They kind of show more of their relationship later on, but yeah, because he basically saves this Japanese guy. Yeah, and then he kind of has like dreams about Jean and what he did to her, and how he's trying to live with that, I guess. Yeah. Then he wakes up with him just basically sleeping in flipping outdoors with all the animals. And I just don't know if he's kind of like friends with some of the animals, and they end up getting like killed by humans, but poisoned, not like mercilessly being taken care of, but like just poisoned to death, so they're kind of suffering. And since, you know, Wolverine's kind of like an animal, he kind of takes that personally and just goes after the guys who did that to the animals. Yeah. You know how he is with bar fights, so that's what ends up happening. What he wanted to do anyway. I mean, he ends up stabbing one of them, but yeah. Because yeah, they're basically using like illegal darts that shouldn't really be allowed. So he wanted to get his own justice, I guess. Possibly knowing what he would do to these guys. Because this bear that this guy poisoned kind of like killed 5 innocent people, I guess. Because the bear just went crazy and just killed people. Basically cocaine bear. Sorry if I had to make that joke, but yeah. On that movie. But then I think it's Yumiko who comes and helps Wolverine without killing them. Like I love Yumiko in this movie. She's so good compared to the Deadpool one. I'm not really a big fan of Yumiko in Deadpool 1 and 2, but I love her in this. Like, I wish we could get this version of Yumiko back, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, and she was pretty good in Our, like season 3. Even though like I'm not really a big fan of that season of Our. Like, she's really good in that as Katana. Yeah, like she really does those roles so well. Like just the way how skilled they make with a sword and stuff. Like, yeah. She's basically the best thing in this film for me. Yeah, I love her character. Yeah. And basically she's kind of come to like, you know, because basically the guy that Wolverine saved back in that historic time, that historic moment, he like basically the person who he saved is kind of like calling him to come to like Japan, so he can like, you know, thank him properly. Yeah, and he's also on his deathbed, so, you know, he wants to see Wolverine one last time before he dies. Yeah. I guess his name's Master Yoshida. Yeah. And he only comes to pay some respects, I guess. And we kind of get like some flashbacks when he's on the plane and stuff. Yeah. Sleeping. Kind of asking like what kind of stuff he's been through. Saying like he's been through a lot of fucking wars. Yeah, like, which we kind of see in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but that should have been the whole focus. And this, they literally could have included this scene in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then they could make it a bigger story in this film too. Like, just imagine how they could have did things to make X-Men Origins Wolverine better. Like, some of the stuff they had here that could have been in X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's just... And they decided to use it for a better film, which a lot of people don't really appreciate, but yeah, I do. And I guess there's some people who don't really like reading subtitles, because this movie's mostly set in, you know, Japan. It's only the beginning where it's like in America still, but yeah. This movie's mostly set in Japan, Tokyo, I think, so yeah. And you have to do a lot of reading because of some of the characters who are, you know, Japanese. But I just, like, this movie's just... like, I'm going to compare this movie to an episode from the 90s X-Men show, which probably is one of my least favourite episodes, which is just crazy to say. Because they basically, like, use a bit of this story, but do it so bad. Making, like, the this Silver Samurai guy just such a lame villain. Like, he was so easily defeated. Because, yeah, Wolverine's still part of the story, but some things are kind of a bit different, though. It's not exactly the same. Yeah, and also Wolverine also gets a love interest, like how he does in this film, to move on from Jean, but I hate how they do it in The Night Show, and it's one of my least favourite episodes of The Night Show, even though I love that show. And X-Men 97, oh, such a good show, yeah. But just seeing how he protected this guy, and they kind of like was kind of bonding at the same time, hoping to meet him again one day. Because to pay Wolverine back, he wanted to give him his sword, and then Wolverine says he'll come for it someday, and I guess today's that day. Yeah. So they kind of arrive in Japan. They go to his house. Wolverine kind of reads about him in the books, meets his people, his family, because he has like a daughter, a grandson. But yeah. Wait, I don't think he has a daughter. It's more like granddaughter. And then the person, you know, the Asian guy who's in Shogun and stuff, who you see in just so many things what have Asians. It's true though. Like, the main character of Shogun, he's basically in this film, and I think he has a daughter, and then the main guy, Yashida, who Wolverine saved, I guess that would be his granddaughter and, you know, son. Yeah. But yeah, Mariko, that's the one who, you know, Wolverine ends up with in this film, has a relationship with, that they slowly build up, I guess. Yeah. Because she ends up seeing the good in Wolverine, protecting her and stuff, when, because, you know, Master Yoshida ends up dying, because, you know, he's on his deathbed, and I guess Master Yoshida had a plan when seeing Wolverine again, because deciding to, you know, ask for Wolverine on his deathbed, he kind of probably wanted something in return, because the way how he met Wolverine in the first place wasn't just by saving him, but he also kind of saw how his powers worked, how he didn't age and stuff. So it's kind of getting like obvious what his true goal is. Basically, when he meets Wolverine again, he wants basically his healing factor, yeah, so he can live forever, and because his family's kind of a mess right now, and he wants to live a bit longer to be able to put things back in check, but he'll kind of live longer than that. And then you got Wolverine, who's just like so depressed. He can't really get over killing Jean in the worst X-Men film, The Last Stand. So yeah, it's kind of still hurting him. Because yeah, even in these better films, they always have to make a reference to the shit films. Yeah, and their awful mistakes. But at least it kind of builds up like the better films, which is cool. Yeah. But then sometimes it can make some kind of like canon errors, like the one with Trask, which we'll get to when we get to Days of Future Past. Because oh my god, that error is just so bad. It's one of the worst. But then Wolverine kind of declines his offer, because he probably thinks like Wolverine's just been through so much suffering in his life. He hasn't been able to be happy all this time, and it seems like he finally was going to be happy after over 2 centuries. Yeah, 2 centuries and then 30 something years he's been alive. I think he's finally found someone that he could be happy with, and a family, the X-Men. But then, you know, Jean ends up dying, Scott ends up dying, Charles ends up dying. Like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, I hate X-Men 3. I'd be depressed if I was flipping Wolverine. Like, my god, I thought I finally found a family, but then flipping, most of them end up flipping getting killed, and then Storm, I guess, is just leaving the X-Men at that point. Yeah, we should even get to see how she's handling things by herself. Yeah, looking after Bobby and all them. Kitty Pryde and Rogue, I don't even know if she lost her powers after this film. I mean, after X-Men 3, like what they even did with her. Yeah. Alright guys, so I kinda had to like go on to something else, but yeah. We'll just get to a different point in the film. When he kinda sees the daughter for the first time. How she's getting treated by her father, which is just terrible. Bruh. But yeah, basically, the grandfather, Yashida, decides to not give his power, his company to his son because he doesn't like what is doing with the company. So he decides to give it to his granddaughter instead, which he just finds so strange, and he's kind of pissed about it. Yeah. So yeah, he's basically not happy about that. Yeah. And then you got this this person poisoning Wolverine, which this affects him for the whole film. He's not able to heal properly. So many takes injuries in this film. Yeah, everything's a bit awkward for him because of this person. Yeah. I'm not really a big fan of her in this film, but she's definitely dangerous. But I just hate that she has the biggest effect to Wolverine in this film. Like, my god, I don't even like her. But yeah. But yeah, everyone just at the funeral after he passed away. And then he kind of meets his grandson for the first time, and how he just basically hates his kind and says to go back to where you come from, Gaijin or something like that. Yeah. Since Gaijin is basically outside of the right. And then like these guys end up flipping attacking the funeral. I think it's the Yakuza, and take Mariko, the granddaughter. And Wolverine's trying to help her, and you know, Yumiko's trying to fight off some of them too with her awesome skill. And then you got some random guy with like a bow and arrow, not really doing much. Oh yeah, that scene in that arcade area is just so weird. It's flipping. You've got flipping people doing gunshots and people getting stabbed, and you're just on the machine, just playing on the arcade machine. Like, would people be that oblivious? I mean, I don't know about people in Japan, but come on, man. I think I'm gonna get killed myself. But you know, he's able to like get to Mariko. Yeah, and then they're able to escape together, even though like she ends up wandering off by herself, and Wolverine tries to stay with her so she doesn't get captured again. And I don't know if this the best reveal that like he's basically the one who was controlling the Yakuza and tried to kill, you know, Wolverine. And man, it'd be funny if he's literally playing the same character from Avengers Endgame, since he kind of like was a part of the Yakuza as well in that and was the leader. And then, you know, flipping Hawkeye ended up killing him as his warning persona. Yeah, so it'd be funny if he's literally playing the same character that he played in Endgame. I'm just not sure if they have the same names. I would have to check, but that'd be so crazy. He's literally playing the same character that he ends up playing in Endgame too, like several years later. That's just crazy if you think about it. Yeah. And they both die too, so I'm just saying that. But they end up like hiding in some like love hotel, but they still end up finding them, I think. But before that, they're like I guess Wolverine has a fight on the train, and you just get this awesome on board the train scene when he's on top of the train, and this guy is kind of like having like a train fight with someone on top of the train. It's so good. I love that scene. Such an awesome scene. And she's kind of clueless on what's going on, but then they end up in the love hotel. Yeah. I don't know if like their relationship kind of goes a little bit in the scene, but yeah. Then they end up finding him anyway, while he's kind of daydreaming about Jean again. I just love how they implement Jean in this movie. They do it so well, because he's kind of haunted by Jean for the whole film, and he's trying to move on from her, and then he ends up having like a relationship with Makihiro, however the hell you say her name, flipping Yashida's granddaughter, whatever. Oh, man. Yeah, he ends up getting injured, but like she helps him, I guess, and then takes him to like a surgeon, more like an animal surgeon, but Wolverine's technically an animal anyway. Man, I'm funny. But yeah, because he kind of like he can't really heal properly right now after what that woman did to him. So yeah. And I guess the Wei-Shen actor, the guy with the bow and arrow, like he's working with this person, and he tries to boss her around, but then like she kind of puts her poison stuff inside of him, showing who's the boss. Yeah. Because he just wants to protect, you know, the granddaughter, because he's kind of loyal to her. But yeah. Oh great, I hate when this happens. But yeah, they end up having like, I guess, a meal together, having conversation, talking about you know, Yoshida, their relationships with him. Yeah. They end up bonding and stuff. They end up getting really close. Wolverine helps around town. shows the good inside of him. I mean, sees the good inside of him, yeah. And then showing like this scene where, you know, Yoshida wanted to give his katana to him, but he said to, like, you know, keep it because I'll come back for it, basically. Yeah. And they kind of leave together. Just so much good scenes that should have been in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. It's just a missed opportunity, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, they end up getting close and making love with each other. Like, even gets to a point where she kind of brings... Well, Wolverine brings his claws out from having a bad dream. She just tries to understand him, and she kind of hears about Jean a little bit, yeah, and what happened to her. And now he's trying to move on, and how he could possibly move on with her. Yeah. And it seems like they have a decent relationship in this film. But then she gets taken, and Wolverine's just getting pissed and trying to find her because he doesn't want Jean all over again. And I didn't really talk about something with Yumiko. She basically has the power, the mutant power to see like the future, but in a way where she kind of sees the people's deaths. So she kind of gets a vision of Wolverine dying in this film, like with him with his heart out, which I don't think she reveals to him straight away. Yeah, like she can always see when someone's gonna die. So basically, those people in the bar, she knew they was already gonna die, but she didn't want Wolverine to do it, I guess. She'd rather let what's supposed to happen to him happen. But then, like, he goes to interrogate one of the guys that are working with the Yakuza and stuff. And at one point, he flipping makes it look like he flipping kills him, but he just puts him in a pool after getting the information. And I just love how Wolverine interrogates him in this scene. Oh yeah, this part when you know, the grandson's kind of in danger because someone's trying to kill him, and they don't really reveal who that Poison Ivy wannabe is working with until like the end of the movie. Which, I mean, obviously it's Silver Samurai, but we don't actually get to see who Silver Samurai is until the very end. Yeah, and back in the day, I kind of hated that reveal, and why I hated the third act of this film because. Back in the day, I only liked the first and second act, but the third act is just terrible. Like, after this part, like, this awesome part of the film, I kind of hate the flipping rest of it. Yeah. Yeah, but it's not actually that bad now. It's still not perfect, but it's not that bad. And then Wolverine finds out what's actually inside of him and stopping him from being able to heal. But this is basically the place where Yumiko kind of saw where Wolverine dies. So at the same time, you know, the Yakuza leader comes and she ends up having to fight him while Wolverine's trying to flipping open up inside of him and take out what's inside of him and basically killing him. Yeah. But then he's able to get it out, but it looks like he dies, Logan style. And yeah, she's just trying to fight him off. But then he gets back up before Yumiko gets killed, and you just get the best scene of the film, like, Hugh Jackman was born to be Wolverine. Like, this scene is just so good. Like, it just gets you hyped watching this scene. Like, oh my god, this is one of the best scenes from Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's just so good. They promoted this so much in the trailers. Like, him just flipping, not even stabbing this guy, but just destroying every weapon he tries to use on Wolverine. And then him realizing that he can't really kill Wolverine. And he just says, "What kind of monster are you?" And then Wolverine stabs him and says, "The Wolverine." It's just, oh, that's perfection. Like, oh my god, one of the best scenes. I love it. Yeah. And then they basically find out, I guess Yumiko finds out about the Silver Samurai. They basically take the granddaughter and head to the Silver Samurai. And then they basically end up following him, I guess. Yeah. But then Wolverine tries to take them all on, but then I guess the crossbow guy ends up stopping him with all of his ninjas. And then, you know, Wolverine's basically captured, apart from Yumiko, so she can still help. Yeah. So yeah, they're basically using Wolverine to basically get his possible powers. Yeah. But then that also ties back to the beginning with what I was saying, which, should I just say it now? You know, Yoshida was, you know, he's the one who's the Silver Samurai, so basically he's still alive, he didn't die. Yeah. And of course this guy is, you know, working with the Silver Samurai too. and says something about, you know, grandfather's wishes, but he's not really fully saying like, oh yeah, and your grandfather's alive, he's not dead, he's actually the main villain of the movie. I mean, he wouldn't say it like that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he wants Wolverine's powers so he can live longer and fix his family. Yeah, even though it's kind of falling apart while this movie's going on. And flipping when he's fighting the Silver Samurai, it literally takes off flipping Wolverine's adamantium claws, which shows how much of a threat he is in this film. So even after Wolverine fixes one problem, he ends up losing his flipping claws, and he ends up getting like his bone claws back from you know, well, I don't even know if this is like the first time we actually get to see the bone claws, because I'm trying to think. I guess before he ends up becoming like, you know, experimented on, he has his bone claws then, yeah. So that's the only time you actually get to see it, but yeah. He's just in a lot of pain after that. And then she's just like, I can't remember what happened to her, but she ends up getting injured, but then she kind of takes off like her flipping skin like she's a lizard or something. And fights Yumiko. I can't remember if it's Yumiko who defeats him anyway, probably. And then he's just like fighting the Silver Samurai, but ends up losing. I mean, I love how the Silver Samurai looks in this. It looks pretty cool. I just hated the reveal of the Silver Samurai. I hated it so much that it was actually Yoshida. Like, why would you do this? Why would you make it Yoshida? Why couldn't you just make it like his flipping grandson? Like, that was just perfect for him to be the main villain. Like, that would have made way more sense. Yeah, like, I love that scene. Like, that's my favourite scene of the film, when he's fighting like his grandson and, you know, kills him. Just all that scene is just perfection, but I'd rather sacrifice that scene for him to be the villain instead of like the person that's, you know, who the reason why Wolverine's even here. Like, he's the main villain. I mean, in some ways it makes sense, but I just don't like it. To this day, I still don't like it. But I don't fully hate this finale anymore. But it's still not perfect. Like, I still don't like this twist and how they tried to hide it for so long. Yeah. But yeah, they all end up helping Wolverine when he's struggling. Yumiko and the granddaughter, she doesn't really recognize him and doesn't view it as her, you know, uncle, and saying like her grandfather died and you're not him, yeah, basically. And he just falls to his death. They just end up departing from each other, but Yumiko stays by Wolverine's side for 2 years, and who knows what happens to her after that. She says goodbye to Wolverine, and I'm surprised he didn't really stay with her, but I guess she just had too many responsibilities or something. I have no idea. But whatever. It just sucks we don't really get to see more from her again, but oh well. And to do like recast her in Deadpool. But yeah. Then this is the ending I was talking about in X-Men 3. Where we get to see Magneto return with his powers, because he didn't actually lose his powers after getting the cure. And then they show that Charles is alive too, which is awesome. And they're basically setting up Days of Future Past, saying that like Trask Industries are going to bring the Sentinels and kill us all. Setting up Days of Future Past. Perfect film. I love you. Yeah, like this movie, man, it's aged too well, man. Even I can, in some ways, excuse its awful third act. It's still not perfect, but you know, it's just such an enjoyable film in my opinion. I mean, I love Japanese culture, so having some of that as the main plot of the Wolverine, and just the way how they do it, man, it's just so good. Like, yeah, it's a great film in my opinion, and it was the best Wolverine movie I saw at the time before Logan, because that's a masterpiece, which we'll get to. But before that, I guess we'll get to review my favourite X-Men film, Days of Future Past. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the review. Appreciate you can leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.